what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to Forgiven AF Podcast. Man, I'm excited to be back with you guys. We haven't done, especially an episode with me and Bryan in a while.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, we're just trying to keep everything going, keep it flowing, get back together. So we got some, we're going to start off. You know, we use this, I say this every time, but it's important because this is really the emphasis of it all, is that we do this for our nonprofit, Second Chance Mentors, where Bryan and I, we work with the young kids in the school district here that have been kicked out for fighting or drugs. We help them get back into school, walk alongside them. You know, you guys know what we do. You guys have been watching this for a while, and we appreciate you for it, and we love you for actually tuning into this. Sometimes it's still hard for me to believe that people spend some of their time and listen to, you know, me or us or ramble about, because I really enjoy doing this. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it gives me a purpose, and I really like feeling like there's potential because, dude, like, especially the people that are locked up, there's still so much life left. You know what I mean? And there's so many. I remember sitting in there thinking like, oh, I'm a convicted felon now. Like,
it's over with. Or I can't do nothing. I won't be nothing. Yeah.
All that. Like, this is just thinking that I'm going to have to hide it or be like ashamed of it. And dude, honestly, now I wear it like as a badge of honor.
I know. Yeah. Like, hey, look and it just shows you like exactly how people can change, right? Yeah. Like, you know, that lie that, you know, oh, once you're in there, you're going to be like this for the rest of your life, man. It's so not true. No, if you want different, you can be different.
Absolutely. But or vice versa. Or there are a lot of people who are going to get out and go right back to that same miserable lifestyle. And it's sad, honestly, because, you know, life doing the right thing is so much better. Like,
so much better.
It is. It's so much better. Not having the stress, like knowing that I'm doing, like, I have a health insurance and, like, you know what I mean?
Paying
like
your taxes.
Yeah.
Not having to look over your shoulder, worried about when you're running on parole and stuff.
It sounds stupid, but like, I don't know anyone who's ever still living in a criminal life who's like building a retirement fund and, you know what I mean? Like
saying, I love this life.
Yeah. Right? Like it all ends up getting taken from you one way or another.
Absolutely.
And a lot of it comes from a place of, or let me speak of myself personally, a lot of it comes from a space of insecurity, right? Like I sold drugs for so long because I wasn't even saving money, dude. I was just partying, using it. Like everything was just, and there was a period of time where I was making a whole bunch of money and spending it on stupid stuff. Like I didn't care, like going to the clubs, blowing it, throwing it on stages at strip clubs. Like it was so stupid
but it was cool to feel needed. It was cool to feed that ego and pride.
That's why I did it. It was because I was so insecure that I wanted to feel like the man, and being, you know, hustling gave me that. So
it's almost more addicting than the drug itself, man.
I say that all the time. It was easier to quit doing dope than it was to quit selling drugs. You know what I mean? Because you go, I remember the first time I stopped and turned that scale off. It's like all my friends that I thought were friends, like cockroaches scattered, gone. Dude. Yeah. Like or when I was locked up, like I want y'all to think about this. How many of you guys are locked up right now, or, you know, and just, you had all these people that you really thought you were close with and like had good relationships with. Are they writing you, texting you,
all
calling
these
you?
Ride or die friends and homies, and then they're gone.
They were your best friend when they wanted like, you know, a deal. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
but don't want to put money on your books and don't want to write a letter.
And think about that. Like when y'all get back out, remember that like it's not going to change. There's nothing. It's actually gotten worse out here.
Yeah.
Like people are just, they're going to tell, they're going to do, like, it's just not worth, it's just not worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people that are watching this, there's some people that probably aren't even going to get out. And just to flip that into a positive mindset, then you still have a purpose. God will still have a purpose for you in there.
Absolutely.
And I'm not sure. You hear that? What are they doing? Working outside? I guess they're doing like some sort of like.
Yeah.
I guess they're doing some sort of, I'm going to close this door. I guess they're doing some sort of like leaf blowing or something out there. I think that helped a little bit.
That's much better.
Yeah. Sorry, they're doing some sort of maintenance outside. Yeah. But yeah, I guess what I was saying is there's a lot of people that maybe aren't going to get out, and that doesn't mean that you don't still have a full life and purpose left for you. So just find out what it is, find what God has for you in there, and just go all in.
100%. Sell out.
Yeah, sell out. It's so true. So check this out. We're going to give a quick update kind of on what's been going on with like all of the stuff that we do together with Bryan and I. So we ran a teen summit, which was really cool. I had, if you go back and watch some of the earlier episodes, there's a guy named Jason Nemes who actually died and was brought back to life. And he came and spoke to our boys. He drove his 720 McLaren. It's like probably $500,000 car, drove it up here. Yeah, the kids were like mesmerized by it. And we did that on purpose because we wanted to have some sort of like, we want the kids to realize that something to dream toward. Do you know what I mean?
Like, well, and it's also a testament that sobriety and doing the right thing can be cool and have its rewards, right?
Yeah,
like,
that too. That's a good point, because
there's some benefits to it.
He's really open with his struggles with drugs before he had a heart attack, which is really cool. And now he's completely clean and sober, which is a cool thing. Especially to see him brag about it to the kids, which is cool, because a lot of these kids nowadays, like, they're getting pushed on them how cool drugs are. You know what I mean? Like they're like,
and the music and media and social media and TV movies. Yeah.
Yeah. Like all that Juice WRLD stuff that, you know what I mean? They think that's all cool, all the popping pills. And there's so many kids nowadays on that fentanyl that they like think it's just a joke. You'll walk down the street nowadays and there'll be someone just bent over sideways.
I don't know about you, but I've had multiple people that I've known over my, years in the streets that, I get updates all the time about people passing away, ODing. Like it's disgusting how many people drop because of fentanyl.
And it's, it's the sad part about that type of drug, the fentanyl and the heroin and stuff like that, is someone will die from heroin, and then all the people that get high want to know where he got it from because they want it too.
Yeah, because they think it's good or something. That's crazy.
It's absolutely insane. That's how drugs make us so sick in the head. But anyway, so this team summit was awesome, dude. We had a bunch of business owners come and talk to the kids about the different businesses that they have, different career opportunities for the kids. We went over goal setting stuff. We went over
financial literacy.
Yeah, financial literacy. We had the Marines come. They did a pull-up contest, and then the Marines.
I didn't win, in case anyone's wondering.
They probably did think that you won.
They probably did.
So, and that was really cool. It was really cool because I think that that's a great opportunity for a lot of kids. Like, I messed that up when I was 21 years old. Actually, 20. I turned 21 in boot camp for the Marine Corps. Came home for leave after boot camp, got high, went back, failed a drug test, and was kicked out. But it's something I still regret a lot to this day, because I feel like my whole life would have been in a different direction. Not saying I'm not happy where I'm at now, but I think it's just good for kids that don't have direction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It
gives them purpose, right?
Discipline,
purpose.
Yeah.
Discipline. Yeah.
So I thought that was cool. So we had the Marines come and talk, and then had a couple. Will Cluis, who was he's a business coach. He's owned and sold a few businesses, and really cool dude. He came and spoke to the kids too. I spoke to him. Mm-hmm. Bryan ran all the different what were they called?
Topics.
The different
raffles.
Things we ran. Yeah, we did raffled off a bunch of shoes and AirPods and stuff like that.
And we had Pastor Sly give a good word.
True. Pastor Sly was here. Yeah, Pastor Sly's been on the podcast. I'm going to share that one too. I've got about, as you guys, when you see this episode, there'll be probably 10 more before it that'll get loaded that I'm just really behind on. The process of loading these onto the podcast, into the prisons and stuff, is not easy. There's a lot that goes into it.
It's not like we record and this automatically updates. We have to get a bunch and then drop them all at once.
Send them in to them, and then they load it when they have time, which it's a huge blessing that we're able to do that, but it's not like just load it to iTunes or load it to
not a simple process.
YouTube, yeah. Especially because I'm not good with tech. If I knew how to do all that stuff, it might be a little quicker, but I have to rely on paying someone else to do it. So anyways, the Teen Summit was awesome. It was a huge success. One thing I learned though, I did a bunch of, we put where it's called Eventbrite, where the people could go online and sign up for it, and it's sold out, right?
Yeah.
But only about half the people that signed up actually showed up. So that was kind of discouraging. I think that maybe because it was free, people don't really value free.
Yeah. Well, they didn't buy in, there was no monetary exchange, right?
Yeah, so they didn't feel obligated to come. So next time I'm not saying I'm going to charge for it, but next time I'm going to be a little bit more, like, maybe follow up with the people that sign up a day before or something like that, just to try to remind them.
If it's a minimal amount, $10 to come attend, I think that even $10, I mean, $10 out today is some money, especially for a kid. If they're paying for it, then they have some buy-in to it, right? And then they want to come in. They're more eager to come in, and if they've reserved a seat, more likely they're going to show up.
I think that's a good idea. Even $5, $10 or whatever, I think that's a good idea, and then they feel committed. Mm-hmm. It's the same way we do with the mentorship. When the kids have to apply themselves to be in the program, they stick to it more.
Yeah,
as opposed to when someone's mom calls me and is like, "Hey, Johnny's not listening to me. Can he be in your program?" I tried that in the beginning, but the kid doesn't want to do it.
Just chase him around, and it's no good.
We're just wasting our time.
But when they sign up and they apply, then you're right. They're buying in. They see value in it, right? And then they're more likely to participate and do the community service, and keep their grades up, and all the things that we look for with these kids. They're more likely to follow through. They
take it more serious, for sure. So
I'm glad you brought that coffee up, dude. I almost forgot mine.
The Teen Summit was a huge success. These 7 Brew, y'all, when you get out, you got to try the 7 Brew. the sugar-free cinnamon roll is just, it's a sugar-free cinnamon roll coffee, and it's absolutely fire.
There's things like every day I try and find something to be grateful for. And I promise, guys, there's many days where I'm thankful for 7 Brew sugar-free cinnamon roll coffees. These things are the truth.
They are really good.
Yeah.
So then we went to, this is pretty cool. So we took our board of directors, which right now is, we've had guys that come and go. Some guys are still included, but it's just the guys who've been all in, me, Bryan, and Greg Potts. Greg is like our organizer. He's like the data guy. He's like super smart with all the tech stuff. Like he's great.
He's the one that's always herding cats and the one responsible for organizing us and getting us back on track.
He gets us back
Shawn
on track,
and I are just all over the place.
So we went to Washington, D.C. for a national mentoring conference, and it was phenomenal. It was a great experience. We learned a lot. We got to pick the classes that we wanted to partake in, and it was just cool being around a bunch of like-minded people that were interested in like the same stuff that we do with mentoring, trying to help kids or
trying to help youth. It was cool to be surrounded by it. The only drawback, and I know you're not as faded by this, as I am, but man, it was cold. It was like 20 degrees. And on the day we left, the wind chill was -5. And I'm from California, dude. I'm not built for that. I mean, I'm built for it, but I'm not used to that. So it was cold, man. Sudden snow on the side of the streets, dude. It was crazy.
I love that. It makes me feel like home because, I'm from Philadelphia originally. Yeah. So I really enjoyed that. So the Mentor Summit was great. We learned a lot. We're trying to bring it back and implement it now. I wanted to give you guys, a lot of people look at us or just look at our lives, because we do a lot of good stuff, and think that, oh, life is so great for them. But I want you to know that when you get out, even if you're doing the right thing, you're still going to have to overcome obstacles, y'all. So you guys know I have this gym, and January 6th, which is the biggest month of the year for us as far as like growth, right? Everyone's January, New Year's resolutions.
New year, new me.
The tenant next door to my gym had a fire. And when they came and put the fire out, it completely flooded our whole gym. It smoked our whole gym out. Our gym, all the AC units got all smoke damage. And so I've been dealing with insurance battle. We had to move the gym last second to another place over there that we were using. It's like a warehouse for our roofing company. Just because I couldn't just shut it down. So right now I'm dealing with this huge insurance battle with this gym. Luckily, we're still able to come in here, and we came in here we're using the podcast studio still. But as far as the gym part, it's all messed up just from flood damage and stuff like that. So I just share that with you because I want you to understand that we still have a lot of struggles.
Life's on us, as good as things are, there's definitely, situations that come up. But the cool thing is, there are things that in my previous life before Jesus, right, that would happen that would cause me to spiral and feel like all hope is lost. Today, when things happen, it's cool that we can, move forward with a sense of peace, so we can move forward responsibly and handle things maturely. It's definitely not something I'm used to. I'm still getting used to it, but when stuff happens, we're able to still navigate through it.
This has caused a lot of stress for me, right? Like even like losing sleep at night, worrying about, because I'm still paying the rent here, $10,000 a month. I'm still paying the rent here, even though we can't even use it. So it's caused me a lot of anxiety and stress. And in the past, I would have just gone and got high. I would have been like, screw this. I don't even want to deal with this. I would have just ignored it. And then next thing you know, I'm back on the streets, and that, don't get me wrong. I still daily think about that might not, if you're an addict, like we are, I still think about getting high every day, but I have to decide that that's not the life I want. I'd have to remember. And Bryan always says because sometimes I'll feel guilty because I'll find myself thinking about it too much. And then Bryan will be like, the longer you stay in sobriety, the more those thoughts are fleeting. And you just have to kind of take it captive and be like, okay, this is stupid,
Well, and the other thing too is, the longer stretch of the sobriety I have, the less time I have those thoughts, right? Because I still get those thoughts too, especially when things come up that frustrate me, piss me off, whatever, I'll be like, man, it'd be cool to get high. But, the more time I'm sober, it's like I think about it for 3 seconds and I'm like, that's dumb, move on. Whereas when I was first sober and 6 months sober and a year sober, it would be a couple of hours I'd be thinking about it, or 30 minutes. And now it's just, that would be cool. Nah, that wouldn't be cool. You know what I mean? So.
In full transparency, I'm really, so to the full on sobriety thing, the full clean thing, it's still new to me. I'm not even a full month in of the not drinking. I would still, for a long time, I had convinced myself that I was still okay to go have a couple drinks with my wife, do stuff like that. but I always felt guilty about it. Like I never felt like it, like completely okay, like that it was okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it would eat at me. And so this is kind of, I'm only like 3 weeks into like a total full on sobriety thing. And every time I do this, dude, like I feel so good and I'm like so proud. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm so driven and motivated and like, I don't have to like numb my feelings. And I knew as this whole situation was going on and I really wanted God's blessing in my life, I knew I was like, okay, it's time to get like all in on, you know what I mean? Cause there are some people who can handle having a couple drinks here and there. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
No, there's some that can, and there's some that can't, like I'm one of those people too. And this goes to show like how miserable it truly was, right? Because we've talked about it, dude. There's times I feel like having a drink, whether it's a steak or a margarita with some Mexican food, or just hanging out at a baseball game. I think I could handle it, but the fact that I'm not 100% sure is cause for me to be like, you know what? If I'm not 100% sure, dude, I'm not even going to mess with it.
Yeah, and give up everything that.
No, man,
it's just not worth it.
And that's why, like, it's crazy. Like, for anybody to doubt God's existence, like for me, forget all the other things, which I could go on and on and on about, right? But the fact that me of all people, and you had to have known me before Jesus to know that, man, I was a dude that always was under the influence of something. And most times it was multiple things, right? And the fact that I can sit here today completely sober, 100% sober, and have over 6 years of complete sobriety and be happy is crazy. That baffles me still. I'm still humbled by it.
That is cool. That's really cool. And like I told you, I said this at your wedding. You're probably one of the first people that I've ever met in my life that made sobriety look cool to me. You know what I mean? Like everyone I knew that was like sober was like, everyone I know that was sober was like, still like, or like clean, whatever the terminology you want to use, it's like, yeah, they were clean, but they were like not happy.
Miserable.
You know what I mean? And they didn't, like sometimes I would go to these groups, NA, AA type stuff. And it seemed like a room full of people. And don't get me wrong, don't let me deter anyone from that because it's helped a lot of people and it saves a lot of lives. NA, I think it's a great program, but I felt like it was just a bunch of people in there that were like sober or clean, but like miserable and grumpy and complaining. And I was like, that's not what I want. So like, I was like, I'm going to get myself into rooms where there's like super successful people. And, like for me, it was like, instead of just thinking about don't get high, don't get high, don't get high, don't get high, or don't get drunk, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had to turn my mindset to start a business, run a business, grow, help people, help people, help people. Do you see the difference? Yeah. Because I feel like that don't get high, don't get high, don't get high, or don't get drunk is still a very selfish.
You're still obsessing about it too.
And yourself and obsessing over like to where me, I have to get out of all that. Like I have to get into, okay, how can I serve this person? How can I help that people? How can I have a men's group? How can I do this nonprofit? How can I do a podcast and serve the prisons? How can we go to these prisons and help people? Yeah. Like I have to get outside of myself because when I'm inside of myself, if I'm on a diet and I think to myself, don't eat pizza, don't eat pizza, don't eat pizza, like all I'm doing is thinking about pizza and I want pizza.
Well, and that's another reason that, and we've talked about this before, that I've able to maintain a sober life for 6 years, right? Because I don't think to myself, man, I'm never going to drink again. I'm never going to get high again. It's literally a day by day thing. It's like, man, I'm just not going to use today. Whatever happens, I'm not going to use. Tomorrow, man, who knows what happens? Tomorrow, something drastic might happen. I may spin off and, say forget it all. But today, I'm gonna stay sober, and that's been able to help me with 6 years.
That's good. So that was kind of what I wanted to let y'all know about the fire thing and what's going on because that's
hold on, let me pause too. I also want to point out, and this is kind of funny too, that the whole get outside of yourself, go serve somebody else. That's a NAAA theory.
Yeah, dude,
they talk about that all the time. When you're struggling, when you're having a hard day, when you're frustrated, when you're mad, when you're thinking about drinking or using, the next right thing, go help somebody else. And all of a sudden, dude, that thought of using, it typically will minimize and you can get past it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I'm not saying, I think it's a great program.
Yeah,
I really do. And I think it saves a ton of people's lives. I just felt like I didn't want to just talk about not getting high or not getting drunk. I mean, I was literally thinking about going to a meeting today, and I probably still will go to meetings.
Yeah.
But I just don't want that to be my staple of like.
Well, it kind of messes your identity up too. For me, as a believer, constantly saying I'm an addict, right? I'm labeling myself, and that's my identity, right? But I get that same type of community and advice and encouragement in our men's group. And I don't have to keep living that everyday identity of I'm an addict. You know what I mean? So it works for some people. Some people, there's other ways. It's not the only way to get sober. It's definitely helped a lot of people over the years, but it's not the only way.
Yeah, no, I'm all for it, and I respect it, and I think it's a great program. I also think, let's just open this up here real quick. What is it when it says when you find Christ, you become a new creation? Like, that seems like it contradicts I'm an addict.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you said this, because this actually happened today. No kidding. So I was if I look at the last 15 years of my life, right, I was known as, the guy that makes mistakes. I was known as the plug. I was known as the guy that would hump anything. I was known as the guy that would never get it together, and today I was at the gym, and typically at the gym in the morning, I pray with, if it's just myself, but typically there's a couple of us that huddle up together and we just pray for God's protection and, guidance and stuff like that. And a guy stopped me today, introduced himself. His name is David. Shout out David. When he came to me, he was like, "Hey man, I just think it's really cool that you pray every day." And we talked for a few minutes, and I invited him to life group too. And then I sat there and I was kind of meditating on it. And I was truly like just humbled that, here I was before Christ, known as all these things, some good things, but a lot of them not so good. And now I'm known as a dude that prays in public boldly. Like that to me is insanity, but it's backed up by biblical principle, right? That when we come to Christ and we surrender, we are given a new identity. And it took me some time to figure out my new identity, and I still mess it up, right? Like, I'm not, by no means am I all the way good yet, right? But little by little, it's changed. And if I look back over the course of the last 15 years, man, what a different dude I am today.
Yeah,
I really am a new creation.
See, that's cool. Yeah. It's cool when other people notice, especially someone that doesn't even know you. Right. Like, it's not even like you're doing anything to, you know what I mean? You're not like, when you're trying to change for your spouse or something like that, right? That's different. But then someone who doesn't even have have a horse in the race or something?
Yeah, no stake in the game, no skin in the game.
Yeah, skin in the game. It's like, and they notice it. You're like, man, that's pretty cool.
And especially like too, and let's just point out the obvious. When people look at me, they don't think, the very first thought they have is not, that dude loves Jesus. Yeah. You know what I mean? Usually it's like, that dude's been to prison. That dude loves pain, which is completely false. I hate getting tattooed. They think a certain thing based on the way I look. And I understand that. I get that. I'm not messed up about it. Yeah. But to see that they saw beyond that, right? They saw beyond the head tattoos and the tattoos and sometimes the not so nice language. They saw past all that and saw the love for Jesus. I thought it was super cool, man.
I think that's probably why it made it to where that person was so, if they probably saw this little, no disrespect, this little small, timid, fragile little guy who was like praying for people, they would probably think to themselves like, yeah, that guy's a weirdo. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then they see some big tatted up, strong freaking, like, dude, that's like, whoa, how cool is that? You know what I mean? Like, it changes the stereotype.
Too. It does change the stereotype, right? And like, for those that are unaware, Shawn and I, we attend the same church, and we also have a men's group that meets on Monday, and we're just a bunch of broken dudes that are just trying to figure it out and encourage one another. It's really cool. But countless times, I mean, not just one time, not just two times, I mean, like a dozen times, I've heard that people see you and I and the group that we associate with, and they're like, man, you guys look like, you make it look like following Jesus is cool. Like, we're the cool Christians, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which
that's cool.
I'm kind of like,
that's a compliment. Yeah.
It is a compliment, right? Because again, we're not the shirts and ties and, everything's in order and we have the cross necklace and, people are like, oh yeah, that's a Christian. They look at us and they're like, and then they see the love for Jesus in us and they're like, wow.
Yeah, I think that's more of like the real. I think that's more real than it is just to have all the buttoned up perfect, because no one's got it all together.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, Bryan and I think one thing is our vulnerability and transparency. Like, bro, I will put everything on the table.
Yeah.
Like, it might be embarrassing. It might be, but I know that if I can put all my struggles and all, that's why I want to tell about what I'm going through with this gym, right? Because I'm struggling with that. I'm still paying $10,000 a month here. We're not even using it. Like, that just took my income to boom. It just ate all of our gym income whatsoever. Luckily we have roofing, Yeah. But I mean, it's like, we don't have it all figured out. We still struggle through everything. We still struggle through it and we try to figure it out. But before I wanted to go, you've got some pretty cool couple life updates that That'd be cool to share.
Yeah. So first of all, just found out Christmas Eve I'm going to be a grandpa. I'm super excited. I have a 24-year-old daughter that's engaged and is expecting in June, which is
Do you know your grandfather name yet? What's it going to be? Bebop?
I kind of wanted like Papa B, something like that, something cool, something fly, but I don't know yet. I think it's going to kind of be
What if you're Grampy?
I'm down with it all, dude. I can't wait to spoil the crap out of this baby too, man. And the way my daughter told me was so unique and cool. She came over Christmas Eve and gave me a present, and I was like, "Oh, I'll open it later." And she's like, "No, Dad, open it now." So I open it up, and it's a onesie, and on the onesie it says, "Grandpa says I'm a Laker fan."
Oh, that's cool.
So it was like super cool the way she told me. And so I've already bought Vans for the baby. The baby has his first pair of Vans, Dodgers outfits. I mean, like, dude, this baby's going to be suited up. It's going to be tight.
That's funny. That's cool.
Yeah. Also, we got, I have a Dalmatian dog named Lucy, and she's my little girl, dude. She's my baby. She's my favorite child. And we just adopted a new dog named Carl. He's a big old Rottweiler.
Carl.
Dude, he is such a cool dog, man. Like, this dog is such a big lug. He was like the perfect addition to our family. I was excited because I was going to wrestle with him and stuff like that. And I realized very quickly, you can't wrestle with this fool because he's going to beat me up. He's big and large and in charge, but he's just a big old dummy, just tongue hanging out of his mouth. Dude.
Is he sweet? Have you seen any sort of like aggressiveness with him or anything?
Not. The only time I've ever seen him aggressive is when Lucy will bark at the window when somebody's coming to drop off a package.
Yeah.
All of a sudden he turns into a gangster. But, then it's through a window. But other than that, the dog park and stuff like that, dude, he's just a big lug. In fact, when he wants loving from me, he'll get in the bed and he'll just stand on top of me. I'm like, move, fool, move. And he just like
stays there.
No, he just just falls on top of me, dude. And it's so adorable, man. I love this dog to death, dude. He's fun. Awesome. Yeah. And I think that was it for life updates, right?
Yeah. You were going to talk about Saturday. We're going to go to which one?
Dude, this is so dope. So a couple of months ago, Shawn and I, and this was my first time, I think Shawn's been a few times, we went to the Hutchins unit and we were able to share our testimony in front of 250 inmates. That was my first time going back to prison. So first of all, let me say it's a trip, right? Going back in with an ID, with street clothes.
Made my stomach hurt for sure.
Dude, I talk about anxiety, right? Like, yeah. Even though I know I've done nothing wrong, I'm still like, man, are they going to let me back out?
The doors closing, the keys, the sound of the keys. Like it was,
locks.
Yeah, it was definitely, like, y'all know, imagine getting out and then coming back to it. It was way harder than I thought it was going to be.
But it was super impactful, man. We got to talk to a lot of dudes that were super, super interested in what we had to say. It was awesome. Saturday, Shawn and I are going to be teaming up with a guy named Tuan Nguyen, which if you can, check out his previous episodes with Shawn. He's on Jade and Gums, Forgiven Felons.
Forgiven Felon. Background Check
podcast. Yeah. The dude's awesome. He wrote a book called From Prison to Purpose. Super cool guy, super motivated to want to help people that are incarcerated not live life like that no more. So we're teaming up with him on Saturday. We're going to the Coleman unit to go talk to inmates at the Coleman unit to share that.
I think it's a women's prison, right?
It is a women's prison. And we're going to be sharing our testimonies and, sharing a message about hope and a future. I think we're going to be doing a panel discussion where we talk about, things that are happening and just proof that, once you're an inmate, there is possibility to recover. There's possibilities to do good once you're on the outside. And then also Shawn and I are going to be doing a tour of prisons. We're going to be going out of state, not just in Texas, but other states to go share our testimony, go speak life over inmates in other prisons across the country.
Yeah, we're going to do that with Jade and Gum, right?
Yeah.
That'd be cool. We're playing golf with them on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Hopefully you guys don't beat me too bad. I get in my feelings and get sad.
So check this out. So I wanted to at least have some sort of value in this podcast. So we asked, y'all might not know about this if you've been gone for a while. So I'm sure you've heard of ChatGPT, right?
The truth.
It is crazy. The AI capabilities, y'all, when you get out and you realize, like, I can just pull my phone out. I can go to ChatGPT. I can ask it anything in the entire world. I can say, write me a book, write me a paper, write me an essay. I can say, give me a picture of, and I'll have it within like 20 seconds at the most.
Side note, I always take that and take pictures of my dog, and I have pictures of my dog all tatted up at Dodger Stadium with a Dodger hat on or eating a taco. Super cool.
Anything you can think of, you ask ChatGPT, which is like AI, to do it, and you have it in like 10 seconds. It's incredible. It's scary at the same time. I don't know what it's going to, I feel like if you took a if Elon Musk made a robot and then plugged ChatGPT into it and it could move and talk and think, it's definitely scary. It's like iRobot, that Will Smith movie.
Yeah.
So who knows what it's going to turn into or what? I don't have any sort of knowledge or understanding of like if it's healthy, if it's not, you know what I mean?
There's obvious signs that it can be abused, right? You know, like my kids like to use ChatGPT to help them with homework.
Yeah, their homework.
Yeah. It's so many words. So I think, you know, it definitely requires some monitoring. You just don't let it run free.
Yeah, that's good. Because it's crazy. It's crazy how powerful it is. But so I asked ChatGPT, hey, give me a couple questions that we can throw in this podcast to have a little bit of just something to kind of give some sort of, we wanted to give updates, but we also want to add some sort of value here. So we said, one question is, what is a lie that we believed about ourselves and what is the truth that replaced it? I'll go first. I don't know if it's a lie about myself, but one thing, is that I always had to please people, that like I had to be hold on, I can't say this is probably still one of my biggest struggles. If you ask me right now, what is my biggest struggle? It would be I worry way, way, way too much about what everybody thinks about me.
Samesies.
It literally controls my life. It controls, I'm getting dressed in the day and I'm like, oh, I can't wear this. This doesn't, or every decisions that I make. A lot of times I'm not even thinking what's the right thing to do. I'm thinking to myself, what are people going to think about if I do that? Which is an awful way to live, but it's literally controlled my entire life. The second part of it is what truth have you replaced it with? And that's just as full transparency. That's something that I'm really working on in my life right now, is trying to figure out how can I fix that? You know, like what can I do to try to stop being so worried about what people think about me? Like it's.
So, I'm glad you said this, and we haven't discussed this, like, I don't think openly, but so, we just did that message series at church called A Church That Pleases God, right? So the first thought I had when you said, I don't know how to replace that lie, it's, well, maybe instead of thinking, what will people think? Like, what will God think, right? Is this something that's going to honor him? Is this something that's going to please him? I also will say that sometimes people pleasing isn't a bad thing if you're surrounded by the right people, right?
Good, yeah.
Because if you're surrounded by a bunch of knuckleheads and you're like, man, I want to please these knuckleheads, you're going to do some knucklehead behavior, right? But if you're around godly men, sober men, and you're like, well, what are they going to think about me if I do this, right? If you're surrounded by the right people, that could actually encourage you to keep going down the right path.
Yeah, I think that's good. And it's true. Because being a people pleaser has helped me in businesses. It's helped me in tons of different ways, right? There's been benefits to it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that don't care what people think about them, which can be negative too, because you're just making decisions based off what you want, what you believe, and therefore you're not. So it can be used both ways, but I feel like I allow it to almost like cripple me sometimes. Yeah. Like there's so much content. There's so many things that I want to put out, right? I'll record a video of something that I think will be super powerful and could really help people. And then I'll watch it before I post it, and maybe I'll like make a weird facial expression, or maybe I'll stumble through a word, or maybe like I'm sitting funny, and I'll just delete it and be like, nah, never mind.
What about the ones that get posted but don't get enough likes fast enough?
Oh man, you really calling me out there. So
My bad.
If I post something, and I've done this 20 times, if I post something and it's not getting the reactions from people that I want, like doesn't have enough likes or I'll delete it. Even though it's something that I feel has value, I'll delete it because I'm like, oh, I don't want people to see that only 3 people like this. It's not healthy.
It's funny too. Well, it's not funny. It's sad because there are times that I've seen the videos you have posted and then they're deleted, and I'm like, dude, that was so good. I don't know why you didn't share it, but I can understand and empathize, right? Because we all want to be accepted. We all want to be liked. I don't care how thug you are, and you're like, I don't care what people think. Do people care? You know what I mean? Like we all want to be accepted, and we all want to be valued, and we all want to be seen and heard. So I can understand where that comes from, that place.
And I think it's maybe a trauma response from as a kid, like always wanting my dad's. And I'm not saying my dad. I have an amazing father. I grew up with a great father, but like he was very strict and had these rules that were like more A's than B's and no C's and none of this and none of that. So I always was like trying to live up to his standards.
Yeah.
So I always wanted his, and then what I've done is I've turned that, I've almost allowed that to then just be how I treat everybody, not just my dad, of wanting their approval, wanting to be liked, wanting to be, so.
That makes a lot of sense.
And that's the first time I'm kind of like trauma dumping right now, but it's like, it's something that, that when that question asked me, it was like, that's something that I feel that I need to work on. And the truth is what you said. The truth to replace it would be like, what does God think about it? Like, what is God's opinion of what I'm doing? And
that can be your compass at all times for any situation, any conversation, any circumstance. It's what's going to please God. What did he want? What would Jesus do? Right. There was a whole branding of that, and they did a fantastic job, that WWJD, and if you let that be your guiding principle, I can't see you ever going wrong.
Yeah. That's good. What's yours? What is the lie that you believed about yourself?
Dude. So I've already kind of spilled the beans about, identity. But for a very long time, man, I felt like I am an addict. I am a felon. I'm never going to change, right? I thought like, this is my cards in life. This is the hand I'm dealt, and I'm just going to play it, and I'm going to play it to the best of my ability, which means committing felonies and selling drugs and hurting people and everything else. And I believed that for a long time. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago, I was like, wait, hold on. That's not true. I can do something. I'd still have purpose. Right. And I think I was actually sitting in a prison cell. It wasn't even like I was in the free world yet. And I felt like God was saying, like, there is purpose to all of this that you've gone through. There's purpose in your pain. And the purpose isn't to bless you and make your life better. I mean, don't get me wrong. I appreciate and get the benefit of it. But the purpose is to go share that message with others, to go share the message that no matter how far gone you feel, no matter, what you have done, there is nothing you can do to separate you from the love of God. And if you allow him to, if you fully surrender, he is ready to change you.
Yeah. For his glory. You know what I mean?
And again, it's cool. Again, we get to enjoy it, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I get to enjoy going to DC with the mentorship, and I get to enjoy being married and having the dogs and owning a roofing company. Like, I get all of these benefits, right? But God has revealed to me recently, it's not for me. Yeah. It's for others. It's for you.
It's to point other people to him.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because, if we could just lower the recidivism rate by 10%, do you think about how many more people would be out here doing well and not going on their way back to prison?
I think of how many kids will have parents. Like,
how many dads would be present?
Yeah. How many dads would be there for their kids? Like,
and how many parents would be setting good examples? Yeah. Right. For a long time, I set terrible examples. Yeah. I was so focused on me, and what really matters is only your happiness. And I wasn't setting good examples. So, I think that there was purpose, and believing the lie that I was never going to change is something that consumed me and gave me my identity until God changed all that.
That's good. Yeah. The other question that we have was, let me read this. What is something that we do now that we could have started in prison that could change the trajectory of someone's life? And I actually would say that I did start it in prison, but mine is just and I think we both kind of agreed on it's having a good community. Mm-hmm. It's being around people. It's having a Bible study. It's having a group of people that are doing the right thing and want the right things out of life. They say if you take the top 5 people that you associate yourself with and take their net income, the average of the top 5 people that you associate yourself with, if you take their income and you average it all together, like 95% of the time it equals out to being where you're at, And it doesn't have to be about money. You know what I mean? I don't mean to turn it into about a money thing, but
it could be sober people, could be godly people.
If you hang out with 6 addicts, or 5 addicts, you're probably going to be an addict. If you hang out with 5 thieves, you're probably going to steal something. If you hang out with 5 people that love Jesus and spend their time serving, you're probably going to love Jesus and serve. Yeah. Like it's pretty much cut and dry. Like, I feel like there's a path. So use that. Remember that. If you say to yourself, like, okay, I want to be successful, I want to do this, well, find other people who are doing what you want to do. It's the same thing I say about mentorship. If you want to be a all-star something, whatever, let's just say you want to be a writer, right? You want to be a writer, you want to publish this great book, get around other people who are writing and who have written books.
Yeah.
Like, find someone who's done it. Lean on them.
That's actually how we became friends.
Yeah.
And I told Shawn this before. I was told about Shawn through another friend at an AA meeting. And I was like, man, this guy sounds awesome. And I came to Shawn's gym, signed up just so I can kind of hang out. And I kind of latched onto him. And because of that, his influence is definitely shown in my life along with the other guys that I associate with.
And thank you for the credit there, but and vice versa. Like, if I wouldn't have found Bryan and Bryan came to me, I was like, bro, I need something to do. And he was like, dude, come sell roofs for me. So I was like, sell roofs? That's never even crossed my mind. I think the first day, I know the first day I went out with him, we sold a roof. Like, the first day. I knocked on the door all by myself. we're on the roof, sold a roof, signed the contract that day. I was like, man, I can do this. And then like it just took off from there. But it was like because I put myself around other people who were doing things that I wanted to do, who were making money like I wanted to make, who had their own businesses, who were doing the right thing. Like that's the key to it. Don't come home and go right back to them same loser friends that you were hanging out with before.
What does the Bible say about a dog returning to its vomit?
Yeah, and that's what I felt like I would do with the drinking thing. Like I'm still, it scares me to even say because I think to myself like, oh, be careful what you say, Shawn, because what if you go back to drinking? Now you know what I mean? But I would return to my vomit, dude. Like it's like a dog returning to its vomit. Like I feel shame, feel guilty. Then after about 3 or 4 weeks, that shame and guilt kind of start to fade away and go back to it. Yeah. Then feel the shame and guilt again. And then, you know what I mean? It's a big cycle. Of nonsense.
Well, and kind of, that community is so important. Like you said, dude, and I'm just going to kind of reiterate, if I want to go do knucklehead things, I know I'm not going to hang around you and Cody and all the friends that we have. I'm going to go hang around other knuckleheads that are doing knucklehead things. Yeah. Right. So surrounding myself with, and you can do this, like Shawn said, in prison, do this right now.
Sure. You can do it right then. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, get in the habit of doing the right thing. And also, the other thing is, man, find a routine. That routine has helped me and saved me from boredom, from complacency, and I don't navigate and avoid my routine, man. I stick to my routine day in, day out. Sometimes it's annoying, especially to my wife, but man, when we were on DC, dude, we woke up in the morning, man, we were in the gym, again, I don't miss that stuff because it's helping me.
Look at the people who are in the best shape. That's not an accident. That's
not me, but
that's not that. Yeah, but you're strong. Like, look at the people who that's not done by accident. People don't get big and strong or in shape by accident. It's not like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym when I feel like it. It's no, they go to the gym. They wake up, they set their schedule, and they do the same thing. Yeah. They eat the same stuff. Like, that's a big one.
And not even just the gym, right? Just successful people. Yeah. Successful people do the same things. Yeah. Or every single day, they avoid unnecessary spending. They save their money. They look for opportunities to invest and grow. These are things that they don't just do sometimes. These dudes are doing this every single day. Right.
That's good. You just hit me. And this is totally off topic, but random. But for some of you people who, when you come home, right, or when you get home, or even while you're in there, I guess, but mostly when you get home, you don't worry so much about about what other people think. You don't have to go buy the $500 shoes and buy the nicest car and put yourself out of, like, spend some humble time where you just stack some bread, get your priorities in order, focus on what's important. I've seen so many people come home and try to be flashy right away because they have this image to maintain when really no one cares whatsoever. No one cares. You're not impressing anybody coming home and buying jewelry and stuff with the first paycheck you get. Like, that makes no sense. But I've seen it happen so many times that what happens is they can't maintain that, and they know how to maintain that is going back to the illegal lifestyle, right? Like right now, I'm struggling right now with the gym stuff going on. I've told you that 3 times, right? So it's really on me. I could easily, you know how fast I know where I could go pick up some work and I could go find someone that needs it, and it's second nature to us. But I know that that's not the lifestyle that I want. You know what I mean? I will struggle right now, know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And don't get me wrong, I'm not struggling, but I'm just in this situation, it's just, I don't know, man.
And think about how much more impactful it is longevity wise. And for you to not return to prison, if you get out and instead of worrying about the shoes and the car, worry about a job.
Yeah.
Worry about
stacking bread.
Yeah. Worry about your transportation. Get a reliable transportation. Worry about a credit score.
A credit score. Preach.
Let me tell you, that is one thing that man, it helps more than the $500 shoes
That's
ever
so
will.
Funny. Do you know how many people have on $10,000 chains and all this drip
and $30,000 in credit card debt?
And
that's crazy.
Or couldn't even get in $30,000 credit card. Couldn't even get the credit card.
Like a 400 credit score.
Yeah, a $400 credit score and $10,000 on a chain. Or
it's funny to me too, because Shawn and I play a lot of golf, and some of these guys that we play with, man, these guys are wealthy.
Yeah.
And these guys are wearing shoes that are 3 years old. And they're not driving, Bentleys. They're driving Camrys, and it just goes to show, what broke people value is
so good.
Definitely not what's going to provide
it gets you back into trouble. It gets you back into trouble because we know how to make quick money, whether it's robbing, stealing, whatever. But
selling dope.
So, yeah, all that. But it's going to put you right back into prison.
Yeah.
And you're right back there lonely. think about when I consider doing something that I know I shouldn't,
Mhm.
I remember how lonely I was sitting in prison, missing my family, missing my son grow up without me.
Yeah.
Like that was a big deal to me because I had a good father.
I'm glad you said that
So
because
I wanted to be a good father.
Sometimes we worry so much about what people think about us,
Yeah.
but we worry about what people think about us from people that don't really matter.
That's so good.
Right. But like our kids, like, for me, I know I hurt my kids multiple times and I'm so grateful that they've forgiven me now and everything else. But instead of worrying about what this dude over here, this, Jacker was thinking about, me,
Yeah.
I was not worried about my kids.
So good.
And I'm sitting there hurting the ones that really do care. And they don't just care when I have money and they don't care when I have a big sack of dope. They care about me as a person. Right. And I'm sitting here steadily hurting them, my dad, my brother, my sister, all these people in my life that truly care about me. I should be more worried about what they think rather than
so good.
This dude that I'm hanging out with.
It's like
doing
we take those relationships for granted. Like, oh, they'll still be there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
When really, like, especially kids, man. Like if you have kids, man, get your life together for them. You know what I mean? Like even if you're out in the streets listening to this podcast, I feel like there's a lot of stuff we've talked about that can help anybody. I try to make, I started this podcast. It was not even, I didn't know getting the podcast into the prisons was even an option. Right. Yeah. So it was just a podcast out in like iTunes, it's on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, it's on everything. And then sometimes it's made this shift, which I felt like as God said, hey, I want you to put this podcast in the prisons. But dude, a lot of this information is good for anybody. There's still a lot of people, a lot of men in this world right now that are more worried about driving flashy cars than what their kids have going on. Yeah. You know what I mean?
If their kids have enough clothes or if their kids have a college fund.
Even checking on their kids, right? Like, where's your kid? Are you even in your kid's life? Like by choice or like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings or make anybody mad, but man, like, God gave us kids. It's such a blessing for us to steward that.
Yeah.
And I feel like we just take it for granted so much now but I guess I'm just kind of going off on a tangent.
Well, and the other thing too is like, I'm glad it took that shift because, I don't know if you guys can tell, Shawn and I genuinely care about you. We genuinely care about wanting to see people come out of prison and not return. We know what it's like to be lonely. We know what it's like to live in a dangerous situation. We know the pain and suffering that you go through and your family goes through while you do that time day in, day out for calendar years at a time. And we genuinely care about wanting to help you. Also, let us say thank you. All the people that are writing us, man, there's not a letter that we don't get that we don't read.
That's so good.
We're so grateful for the people that take their time out of their day and use the stamps that they could be using on something else. And they send us a letter to encourage us or say how something really impacted them, man. Keep writing. Also, Shawn is going to give you the new address because of the new gym.
Yeah, good call. I almost forgot about that. So now we moved because we're dealing with this insurance battle here. I just hired a lawyer to take care of that. But the new gym address is 8001 Valcasi, which is VALCASI, Valcasi Drive. It's Suite 131, and it's Arlington, Texas, 76001. I'm going to say it one more time because we love your letters. 8001 Valcasi, VALCASI Drive, Suite 131, Arlington, Texas, 76001. And please, I know if you write us, we don't do a good job of writing back, but we get a lot of letters, and it's like we both have multiple businesses, but like I'm gonna try to figure out a way to start. I don't want to just when I get these letters and they're heartfelt, like I would feel guilty if I just wrote like, "Hey, thanks for the letter. Here's
Shawn.
a stamp, and send it off," right? Like, so I just don't respond. But the letters mean so much to us. I need to figure out a better way.
Well, and also know that they get read. It's not like we just chunk them in a pile and they just sit there. Dude.
I read every single one of them and then pass them to you. Yeah,
because it literally is encouraging to us. Because again, Shawn and I don't get monetary value from this. We don't, obviously see a lot of response because a lot of the people that are being impacted by these podcasts are podcasts. That was great English. Are behind prison walls, but the ones that do reach out, man, we're grateful. Thank you for writing. Thank you for taking the time to jot down some notes and tell us how this impacted you. And man, keep them coming. Cause like I said, it encourages us and we appreciate the value that you guys see and two ex-felons and ex-addicts that get together and chat it up with you for a little bit.
It's so true. That's so true. Cool. Well, hey, I think that's all we got for today. We were worried about not having enough to talk about, and that was an hour. So we say this all the time, and it's so true. Do you have anything to say before we finish?
I mean, if you don't say it, I'm going to say it.
Okay, you're loved and you're forgiven, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Love y'all.
Peace.